Now we come to the driving controls. These are grouped around the steering wheel so you have easy access to them while you're driving. The gear change controls are all on the gear lever, which is mounted on the right of the steering column. This truck has the Scania automated OptiCruise gearbox, and it's the 2-pedal version, meaning that there's no clutch pedal. There's a comprehensive video on Scania OptiCruise in the additional information section of this app. Do note that you'll need internet access to watch this video. This inner rotary switch controls forward, neutral and reverse. You've got neutral in the middle, turn it forward to go forwards, and to select reverse you push the switch towards the steering wheel and turn it backwards. There are 3 different modes of automatic. The rotary switch that selects forward and reverse also controls these. From the forward position there's a further spring-loaded position, and each time you flick it forward you cycle through the 3 different modes, as you can see in the dashboard display. First, there's standard mode, which it's in at the moment. There's also AP, a power mode, which you only use in extreme circumstances if you're doing a lot of hill climbing. You're actually very unlikely to need this in the UK, and many customers have the power mode disabled at the dealer or order the truck without it altogether. Finally, you have AE, an economy mode. This prioritises low fuel consumption and driver comfort, and AE is really where you want to keep the truck for pretty much all the driving that you do. The window at the top of the dashboard will always tell you whether you're in A, AE or AP, alongside the indicator showing you what gear you're actually in. Now I'm going to leave it in forward mode to show you something else. If you're manoeuvring around a yard or want to reverse under a trailer, you can select the manoeuvre mode. In forward or reverse, push the gear selector away from you and hold it there for a couple of seconds until you see a lowercase m appear in the display on the dashboard. Manoeuvre mode works in forward and reverse, and it gives you much finer control over the throttle, so you can get the truck moving at very slow speeds and control it very precisely. To cancel it, just lift the lever, or if you forget about it, don't worry, by the time you get up to 6th gear, it'll cancel itself anyway. The truck always sets itself to automatic mode when you start up, but you can select manual by pressing this button on the end of the gear lever. To change up a gear, simply pull the lever towards you. To change down, push it away, and the truck does all the rest. However, we strongly recommend that for most driving you simply leave it in automatic. The gear changes are then computer controlled and keep the truck in the ideal gear. There are 2 important switches by your right knee. This one here turns the reverse audible warning off. Normally it's on for safety reasons, but if you are reversing at night, somewhere where you want to be quiet, turning this switch on will turn the audible warning off, but don't forget to turn it back on. Next to it is the master switch for cruise control. Press it down to turn cruise control on, then you can set and adjust your speed using this 4-way control on the steering wheel. When you get to the speed you want to stick to, press this plus sign at the top here. It'll engage cruise control and keep you at that speed. If you want to adjust the speed slightly, the plus and minus buttons will increase and decrease your speed by 1 km/h for each press of the button. You can cancel cruise in a number of ways. You either press the off switch, or you simply touch the brake pedal lightly, which will immediately disengage it, or you could turn the whole system off with the master switch by your right knee. Now, let's say you'd set cruise control to 60 kph and you slow down for some reason. You could get back to that speed by just pressing resume, but this will make the truck accelerate quite rapidly back up to 60, which will probably use more fuel than you want it to. Unless you selected AE, that automatic economy mode we saw earlier. If you have, the truck adopts what's called a soft resume mode, and it'll accelerate gently back up to your chosen speed, and that's another good reason to use AE mode as much as possible. It just makes the truck so easy to drive. Set cruise for the speed you want to maintain, then you can slow down by clicking the off button or just touching the service brake. Then touch resume and the truck will take you gently back up to that speed in the most fuel efficient manner. On the right of the steering wheel are the controls for the dashboard display, which let you scroll around the different menus. When you first start, press this left button at 9 o'clock and it will bring up the main menu with 4 different sub-menus. You can work around these menus using the arrow buttons. Pressing the left button always takes you back to the main menu, so you can easily switch between them. The only modes you can select on the move are the up option with this road symbol for information about the trip, and the right 3 o'clock option, which shows you different gauges such as air pressure. Going into the top menu, the one with the road symbol brings up the speeds you've set for active prediction, the clever Scania cruise control which makes hill driving much more fuel efficient. Now, this is the subject of a separate video which can be found in the additional information section of this app, but do note that you will need an internet connection to watch the video. This screen is showing the speeds which have been set for the active prediction cruise control. Pressing the down arrow in this menu shows you information about the current trip. It shows the total miles driven, the average speed and average fuel consumption. Pressing the down arrow again shows the total time and the total time spent idling, which you obviously want to be as low as possible. Press down again and you get the fuel consumed this trip and the amount used with the engine idling. Down again takes you to the driving tips, which once again is the subject of a separate video in the additional information section, and you'll need an internet connection to view it. This is the average score screen for the driving tips. Down again and it shows the separate areas of hill score, anticipation and the gear change score. Finally, one more click down takes us to a repeat of what's currently logged on the tachograph. So if you want a quick check of how long you've got to go before you need to take a break, glance at this display rather than looking up and playing with the buttons on the tachograph itself. Press that left 9 o'clock button again for the main menu, and then the option on the right with the dial symbol, that's for gauges, starting with the air pressure gauges. Then the down button takes you through instant fuel consumption, turbocharger pressure, battery voltage, engine oil pressure, and that very important AdBlue level gauge. And as you can see, this one needs filling up.